So here I'm here with the homie CJ, model, actor, poet, writer, black man, spiritual stage guru, lover,
Yes,
lover
yes,
of
yes.
life and things that are nice. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And we're currently in the process of getting this main flowy, and we're about to throw some berries and the juices of Zamundo on top of it to get that joint nice and curly and luscious. You know what I'm saying? But now on a serious note, CJ is one of my newer friends, although we've known each other for like 2 years now or something like that.
About 2 years, yeah.
He's one of my newer favorite friends. I think he's just a beautiful soul, a person that's really in tune with life, the things that matter. He's one of these people that you meet that irrespective of what he did, he'd be a success. You know for a fact that he would have like an abundance of people around him because he just, brings good energy, brings good life, brings like, I don't know, you have an energy, like a force around you that just makes people really, really enamored, and like you make them feel good. You make me feel good, So it's like a hopeful energy, if that makes any sense.
I'm a reflection of you. I'm a reflection of you, okay? Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for the introduction.
If I missed anything, let them know.
No, you hit it right on the nail. I think it's important to have people in your life that see your value, whether it's from the beginning or in the midst of it all. That is the thing that keeps me going. And you've been one of the pillars in New York for me to remind me how talented I am, how talented we all are, especially with this extra push. So anything I can do to pay it forward or like show my respects back, always willing and grateful to do so. So,
Thank you.
On that note, you got me perfectly. I am all those things you said and more, and whatever else I want to be. And I'm blessed to be able to say so and to do so.
Let's get into it. You know what I mean? And again, this is all unedited. We're going straight up. So you're seeing the hair getting fresh. You're seeing, me. I'm not. By the way, I'm not buttoning this jacket. This isn't.
It's just straight.
I'm keeping this shit open because this is sex. What we're trying to exude right here is sex appeal. Real deal, raw. I'm not even have shea butter. I should have put some shea butter on my chest.
I put a little shea butter on mine. So see the glisten from the sun on there. You see that? I need the button, so if it gets real in the conversation at any point and I gotta be superhero, you hear buttons.
We'll give the people what they came for, though. I think what I really want to know from you, because this whole entire series is really just about me asking my friends about art, where they are in life, and the things that they're trying to achieve, where they're wanting to go, and how they're just feeling. How are you feeling during this time more than anything else?
This time has literally just thrown me left and right, up and down. I've been on the floor a couple times during this whole quarantine, literally to the point where I went up to spend time with my mom over quarantine. I don't know if you remember, but like for a good 2 months, I was up at my mom's, basically just isolating with her. I haven't spent much time with her since I moved out of New York. So I think it was a nice thing for her. She needed some like a companionship, some support. She's a single mother. She does a lot on her own. She takes care of her whole side of her family on her own. So, but when I was there, I was sleeping on the floor. She just got her new house. So happy for her and stuff like that. But she didn't have a bed in the guest room yet. So I literally was putting comforters on the floor and laying on the floor for 2 months, Still beautiful, still a beautiful experience. Just trying to liken the amount of things I felt. Where there were highs, there were definitely different kinds of lows. And then just the whole idea of the climate that our country is in. Everybody awakening, everybody finding new purposes, definitely has me reconfiguring or recalibrating my purpose as well. I've thought about what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do in so many different ways. When it gets down to it, it all is going in the same direction in regards to storytelling and expanding people's minds in an explorative way. Mainly where I am, because it's people that look like me, as Black men. I want Black men to explore themselves as much as they can, because we've been kind of boxed in for the ways that we can experience ourselves. And I know I have, at least. So I'm like, if anybody feels that way, I'm trying to break them out of it. So within all of that, that's the main goal. Exploration and storytelling.
There's a lot that you said there that I think a lot of
I
people.
know. I'm sorry.
No, good way. No, in a good way. Like, I think a lot of people like resonate with that. Even myself. Like this past, I mean, I won't lie. Maybe the past year and a half so has been like really, really rough. Particularly working on the book and bringing up all these emotions. And
let me plug you in real quick.
what happened?
Let me plug you in. Let me plug you in real quick to the side.
It's everywhere. Look at that.
What's up?
Thank you, brother. Woo! That's a good page right there. But yeah, that's the whole process of doing the book up until now. Like I was making so many, as you're saying, like I was making so many sacrifices last year, relationship wise, personal wise, work wise, just friendship wise. Like there was a lot of moments that I missed because work had been so hectic with that crazy schedule and doing the book at nights, not sleeping, literally. It was something where I was like, I'm going to bust my ass for this next year to put all this stuff together to get something beautiful, which I'm happy about. But it was in the event of being able to it was with the energy of like being able to go out and see people and really be in the spaces where people were existing and living. And I was just looking so forward to like just hugging people again and really being truly present in my life and just in spaces. And just the way this whole entire year went, as you're talking about like being kind of thrown off and being thrown on the floor. While I'm not on the floor, like there was definitely a point emotionally where it was just like, I've been working so fucking hard just to get to this place of being able to be outside again. And literally the world just was like, you're not going outside. That's not happening. You need to be inside. You need to reflect even deeper, which has been good. Everything's a positive. Everything can be turned into a positive if you want it to be. So, the growth was necessary, rethinking things, recalibrating things, finding other ways to interact like this show. Of course, doing the book and having that sort of like the past couple of weeks really just like take fruit and connecting with people that way. But it really has been just like, it's really just been a time where it's like the intentionality of what you want to do in this moment in life and moving forward is the utmost importance. There is literally nothing in my life that means more to me than making sure that I'm around the right people, I'm connecting with the right people, I'm remaining open, but more so that I'm doing the things that truly feed me, that truly fulfill me, not just my bank account. If anything, that's like of the lowest importance, all beyond just the bare minimums, but just feed me in a way where I could like not wake up every day and feel like I'm crumbling, like I'm giving blood just to like get through the day.
Yeah.
It's been crushing in moments, just to be quite honest with you, dealing with some of the people that have to deal with on a day to day. And, you all, just to be honest, even from you saying like, oh, I'm just trying to figure it out. But even from just me seeing you do your shoots, you do your writing, you do your performances, you keep, you being in a space where you're still like exploring and celebrating life. It's been the motivating factor for me, seeing you go out and just like still take risks, still be, just bold. Like it gives energy to me, and all my friends.
Thank you so much. I'm happy.
It really matters, bro. Like you really, like you're a hopeful figure for me. Like you have this joy when it comes to your life that it makes the mundane seem elevated. And it reminds me like it's the small moments, not the big ones.
Yeah.
It's who you go with, not where you're going.
Yeah. I agree. I think that was one of the perspectives that I got a deeper look at during this whole, few month period, is the redefining of worth, and not allowing financial. I was distancing from it beforehand, but I think this cemented it. Everyone going in quarantine and like you finally seeing how the government really views the people in this country, how people of power view the people in the world, and just the statistics, and they're so forgetful that all these statistics have souls. So having conversations with my friends and even some strangers, I spoke to one guy the other day, and he was just talking about how much of a workaholic he used to be. And then once everything flipped and he realized like it was a wake-up call, like life is short, you know, especially being a black man in America right now. We're dying from all angles, you know, and everybody dies, of course, but like it's in a way that it seems as if we're under attack. From you know, mythical ways and just like hunted ways, and it's just very unmotivating at some points. Mm-hmm. So when I found or see this new purpose, I find that as a new sense of motivation, to look for a new kind of motivation. You understand? And just hearing somebody else speak on it and say how much of a workaholic they were, like that's how they defined themselves. That's how everybody knew this man. He was a bartender and he walked in and he made drinks and he was there doubles to make that money, and then realized, hey, I could actually survive off of just $400 a week. I don't, you know, and I don't really need these things to be happy necessarily. It was a nice wake up call for him, and then it flowed over into me when he told me. So now I'm just like, I used to be mad, like, yo, why am I not getting like more paid or more of this or more of that? And I think that is the wrong intention to go into when you are creating art. I think the money will come. I've seen a lot of money in my lifetime, and I've seen a lot of opportunity, and I'm grateful for it. And to have experienced that, I think it's a privilege, and I should take hold of that privilege and understand that I should be grateful that I'm able to create, period. So that's what I really lead with. I'm just like, I'm excited today. I get to do this. The only time I really fret about money is if one of these big companies come to me and tries to underpay me. Like somebody the other day was just like, hey, we're just gonna give you like exposure. And I was like, kiss my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Go kiss my whole ass. But if my friend comes up and he's like, yo, I really want to create this project. I'm passionate about it. Mm-hmm. I have a talk that I want to have with you. Let's hop on. I'm hopping on because this is the stuff that fuels me, and I know it fuels you or anybody that I love. So that's where my motivation and my purpose lies right now, trying to find ways to create.
It's such a beautiful way to look at things, because we're really led to believe, particularly as like Black men in a society where like we own such a small fraction of the wealth. And but yet there's still so many hyper-visual versions of us out there to make us feel like it's so easily attainable. Mm-hmm. And the areas truly aren't really described, you know, for the larger society to see like, yeah, we can have these larger figures, these rappers, these athletes that have that. But for the person who just wants to create for a living, the person who just wants to, whether they just go to be a bartender or go into a daily job, or just, hey, I want to be an actor or someone like that, but just, you may not get to the most lucrative level. It's like sometimes that, like you said, sometimes those motivations can get twisted. But I really do believe just being in the artistic space that we're in, it's really a blessing to be even in a situation where we could literally say, I think these things that I have, these talents, could be what I do to exist in life. It's such a bold thing to say, to believe that you are truly enough, like your mind, body, thoughts, and soul. And I get everything that someone does is their mind, body, thoughts, and soul, but there's something about like an idea that you have for yourself, you transmitting that thing to someone else and someone else and someone else. And it just rings true enough to enough people that someone says like, I'm gonna hire this person. I believe in their message. I believe in their story. I believe in who they are.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like you said, it's kind of hard to believe in that when the rest of the world is just saying like, you know, you're not enough. You need to be more. You're half of that. You're less than that. You need to be doing, you know, this to be seen as such and such valuable, such and such value. And I think as men, just to be real, like it feels like no matter how much money you make, there's always never enough to feed, you know, yourself and those around you that you would like to feed. You know,
exactly.
It's something I struggle with too, because I have a little workaholic, you know, nature in me. And, you know, even recently I've had to have those discussions about like, just to myself personally, like I couldn't imagine with all the work I had been doing over the past year to like work so hard to build something, to then lose the people and the person that I was building it for.
Yes.
You know, it's something like nowadays it feels like you can't even really truly have your eyes on multiple prizes at once. You know, it's like you can only choose one. And for the longest time I have been choosing work. I have been choosing finances. I have been choosing like the things that occupy me, even if they weren't even like fulfilling me. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that you and, you know, I think all of us should have this like, you know, overwhelming awakening of just saying like, nah, it's about us. It's about us individually. And it's about us.
Literally, man.
You know,
Yeah.
like you said, someone it literally said to you, I'll pay you with exposure rather than paying you money. Like,
Yeah.
and I get it. Some people don't have the money. Some companies are struggling, as we've all found out. Like everybody's on a string to a degree. But the fact that they couldn't consider any other way to try to find you some sort of like compensation, like you're giving them exposure too. It goes both ways. It's like it's perfect. It's like if we're having this call right now, and after it, you know, a month later, I say, yo, thank you so much for, you know, being a part of the call, and you saying you're welcome, as if you got nothing out of talking to me either.
Yeah.
You know, we're both talking, we're both sharing, we both have something to offer. You're giving me your time and attention and exposure, and vice versa. But for them just to be like, oh, it's only one-sided. They're the only one that's benefiting. You're the only one that's benefiting from here. It's just a weird thing that I think artists, actors, models, that you guys deal with, this weird of like this pro bono type of shit where it's like, I can't get paid too. I can't just get the same check that you're trying to get. I can't get the same money that you're trying to get to go then buy something.
It's very predatory. That's how I define it, as very predatory. Like these huge companies take advantage of these. I define myself as a business, a company. That's one of like my outlooks on things, because I have to act and move as such, right? So they take big advantage of these little companies because they can. And it's like, you have such a huge responsibility to make sure that our future goes in the right direction once you have a huge influence. That's why I stay in the modeling industry as a whole, because I know if, you know, a young black boy walks past and sees me on a billboard and it's like, I want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being like me entail? What happens when he finds out like what I'm doing in the world? Not to say that I have to fake or be something that I'm not, to like be a role model to people that I've never met, but just be conscious and move with intention. Know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be, you know, a fuck up, like understand that I'm a fuck up, and let people know that from the get-go. Like, hey, you might not want to, or if I understand that, you know, I'm trying to lead and explore in this certain direction, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you know what I'm trying to do. And I think these companies don't do that. These companies are really just like, how can I make more money? And at the end of the day, you realize the money is starting to become a little less, the word is a little less precious, you know, compared to life. I think people are battling with it right now, and I hope life and soul wins. I know it is very unrealistic, but you know, I've been a dreamer since forever. That's why I'm in this industry. So I'm leaning on that side to the end of time. I refuse to let these companies take advantage of me anymore. And I'm trying to dismantle that for anybody else that comes after or currently. It's not. It's got to. These big companies have a huge responsibility. They should be taking care of communities. They should be taking care of the direction of where we're going as a society. They really are just lazy and think what they're doing is enough. It's never enough. Never.
You know, funny, it is enough when your mission is just money. It really is. Like when your mission is money and you're making it, you are fulfilling your goal. I don't see these entities. I won't say that they're immoral. They just tend to be amoral. You know, like it's just a dollars and cents thing. It's really just like matrixy, zeros and ones, and hopefully the ones go before the zeros. You know, and I won't even lie. Like at a certain point in time, like I just realized that it's all goofy. It's all goofy in that sort of way. There's nothing like genuine about a company. They're not going to do anything with the intention of like the benevolence of others or like some sort of equality. It's very like realistic, like has a comparison to society. But people don't do things that they're not incentivized to do, and companies are like just an aggregate of people with those same sorts of like feelings. And that's not people on average, but it's like as far as these groups of people that are there to make money, they're just doing the things that make the most amount of money. If they see you and they say, you know, this is a great model that we can have, you know, put in our attire or model our product or whatever the case may be, and they figure there's any way for them to devalue your cost or devalue your price for your services, they're gonna do it. It's all like who's gonna win in the end. It's like it's this odd, it's just like this odd give and take of like someone must get out from a deal, you know, ahead. And I don't understand that. I just think like if you're winning, or see if I'm winning, why would I not want you to win within like me winning? I don't understand the whole notion of like we get into an arrangement because I have a little bit more. When I leave this, I need to have 90 or 99%, and you can only have, you know, 10 or 1%. And those like imbalances are really where we are. It's almost like where we are in life. I feel like that's the breaking point. You know, like the Jeff Bezos, my man, what, almost 200 billion, and like he has people at his company. He has people at his company like trying to get a $15 minimum wage, and it's like I get someone saying, "Well, I employ a million people. If I raise everyone's minimum wage from, you know, whatever it is, maybe it's 14 to 15, or from 15 to 20, that's, you know, millions of dollars. You know, we're trying to be in business for X amount of years. That's millions of dollars over 10 years. You know, that could be a $200 million cost for all I know. I don't know. But my thing is like, you can't have a world where there's someone who's valued for 200 billion, and the concept of that money, which some one person can never spend, even if they're building rocket ships to go to fucking Mars, the concept that money can't trickle down in a humane sort of way to where people can't get $20 an hour just doesn't make sense to me. And I get it, $20 in New York ain't $20 in, you know, someplace in Texas where there's no personal income tax, no personal income tax. But just across the board, general equality of just wage would be nice. And I know other people like Andrew Wang and other leaders have been talking about like universal basic income. And this period of time has almost seemed like just that. This is what happens when we get automated to the point, whether out of greed or just out of like just technological enhancements, where it's like everybody can't work. Everybody may not be able to get, you know, what they exactly want to do out of life. There may not be enough bodies to do that. So you got to pay the people who are actually doing it a fair wage so they can feed other people and create more jobs. I may have gotten off on tangent, which is something I'm working on. But
no. That's the tangent we need. That's the tangent.
That's just something I've been thinking about, man. Just trying to figure out how to like create more equitable structures. Because I just feel like when I think about like what you do, it just seems like a industry and just like a profession that's just like rife for that sort of inequality. Like, almost like that's the foundation of it in a weird sort of way where
it really is, to be honest. And I question myself like almost every day, like, why am I still in this industry? This industry clearly doesn't value you or anything that you believe in, you know. But I see like little bits of change, and I see myself growing and learning a lot more, challenging myself, because I'm like head first with these issues on a constant basis.
Yeah. What would you know what? Just to make it more positive, just to make it more positive, or make it more like, I don't know, solution oriented. What would you want to see if you could imagine it? Not to put you on the spot, but like, what would you want to see if you thought about an equitable way to consider like, you know, modeling or even acting or whatever it is? But how would you see that being more equitable?
I just think the elitism needs to dismantle. Thinking certain titles make you better than certain people, I think is, I think that's the problem. Like, people really get it's such a dreaming industry. They dream of like what these things mean to people itself. So again, model is like one of the lowest terms on the totem pole. Unless you're like a supermodel, then that's when it changes. Then you have some kind of leeway to adjust how you're defined, right? That's when you can dip into movies. That's when you can create a direct. That's when you can create a line justly. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can still do it now, like as a normal model, but it takes a lot more work. You know, nobody's afraid of work, but I think that's the thing that is separating us. That's the thing that is separating all of us throughout the industry, is that conversation. If we have those conversations more, I think it will open up ideas on how we can get to a level of, hey, why am I getting paid on net 30? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have bills, you know, a net 60. I have bills. I have my rent due this first of the month, and I gotta wait until you're ready to pay me. There gotta be some way for you to reconfigure that.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? You know, there gotta be some way You can't tell me that there's no way to make sense of that. And that's another thing that like this whole time has meant to me, because I've seen what the government can do.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? In the sense of paying everybody well, not everybody, unemployed $600 extra every month. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen people getting paid more than they've ever been paid, doing the least amount of work. You know, staying home and just staying to themselves and being good, compared to like working a 12-hour shift and still not getting paid as much as the unemployment benefits. You know what I'm saying? That drives somebody crazy.
That's why, that's why they have to get those. They have to get that shit off the books quick.
They like, get that shit out here. It's like, yo, they probably gonna, man.
And I understand. It's like, I understand how it's so weird, man. Because over the past few months, I've been like, just been like low key in like this whole financial world, and like understanding my finances better, like from a technical perspective of like where should I be trying to invest if I had money to invest in? What should I be?
I'm gonna pause you for 2 seconds. I'm gonna pause you for 2 seconds. I'm gonna just switch this shirt because it is hot in my house and I don't want to put AC on.
I'm gonna spit something too over here while you wait.
All right.
Like I said, we unedited. We changing shirts and doing all of that.
Change clothes.
Can you hear me, or should I just wait for you to get back?
Huh?
Can you hear me, or should I just wait for you to get back?
Oh, I'm here.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking then. But like, just over the past few months of like learning about like finances and learning about like just the way this like real economic shit works, I can understand somebody saying, you know, I can understand somebody being like, yo, I'm getting paid more one than I was paying before. I ain't going nowhere until I got to. But then on the other side, I do understand someone saying, well, it's a disincentivizing like element to have people making more unemployed than when they're employed. But the point of it is like, okay, should we probably, you know, attack the issue of people making more when they're like unemployed than they are? Like maybe the wage when they're employed should be a little bit more higher. No one want to have that conversation.
Nobody.
And I get it. Like there's companies, like if you're a mom and pop shop, as they call them, you know, you just make a certain amount of money. You got people like, I don't know whether they're servers or they just do something for you. You didn't even have the money to make them. You're like, sure, I would love to pay y'all $20 an hour if we were making 20x of what I'm making now, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I understand these are like much more like bigger financial, like economic system models than, you know, than what it really boils down to. And I think everybody wants to get paid more than what they make now. I'm just trying to figure out, like, for myself, like, how do we, you know, even talking to Josh about it, like, how do we create for ourselves even more, like, you know, economic structures that we could, like, be more self-sustained? And how do we actually feed the platforms that create value for other people? Like YouTube, the reason why this is on YouTube and not Instagram is because if at any point in time in the next 5 years or 10 years of me doing this, or 50 years, hopefully I can keep doing this, of me doing this, I get monetized. Like YouTube has a system in place where those that create for them, they get paid for them, you know, get paid. Like even if it's a fraction of a whatever 1%, there's none of that on systems like, you know, Facebook or Instagram or other apparatuses, other platforms. It's about like trying to align yourself, in my mind, with systems and people and businesses that give people, even at the bottom, a means to make more than, exponentially more than what they would make in a day-to-day. Because nobody making a wage is ever gonna make, you know, any amount of money to like uproot them out of poverty. You know, it's been about, for me, trying to own the things that I create rather than looking for someone to give me a check, create that check for me. No one's smarter than you for the most part. No one's doing the magic. You are the magic. You are the everything. So if I believe that I'm the person who can have a conversation, why do I need to go to such and such person to then cut my shit, cut my price, cut my revenue, cut my returns for them to host or host me? I'd rather build it from scratch. I'd rather take 100% of nothing. I'll take 100% of $1 than you know, and try to build that $1 to $1 million and still owe 100%, then take 10% of $1,000 and have that 1,000 capped. You know, I think this moment should be like a reconfiguration of how we go about trying to get paid and how we value ourselves. And I know some of that is controlled, but if there's anything that you could do from a modeling perspective where it was be like, you know what, or acting perspective, I'm gonna do my own show. Probably on TikTok or do whatever you've already been doing, or I know you do the performances, you do the writing, you do the, you know, putting it all together into a book or something like that. I think for me, I'm trying to think about it like, how do I claim and own more of the things that I produce? Because I am the talent. And if I have to, like you said, become a business from that talent, then that's what I need to do. And, you know, like, just don't even complain about it, just do it. And if it doesn't work out, you still have them giving you whatever like wage that they want to give you or like contract they want to give you. But I think it's really just about creation at this point. Like, we really have to create the systems that we want.
That was the most recent realization that I've come to, creating for myself. And I've known for a long time, but I guess I was relying on on me to change this industry at a faster pace than was realistic. And now I understand that that's not true at all, especially if I want to make any sort of change. And the main change that comes nowadays, or one of the main changes, it comes from money. So if I have money to affect communities that definitely need it, or even just the artists that are around me that want to create, that's what I want to do. I want to fund these artists that have these dreams and all of that. I want to produce and help make these dreams come true. But yeah, it's just this whole, like I said, they opened another eye for me, just giving that money. And I know it desensitizes, I don't know how to say it right now, but it takes away the yearning for wanting to work for money when they're just giving you money. But like you said, like maybe they need to change the idea of the government being so out of help, so out of contact with their people, except for like when the negative time comes. Like, you should always be this close to us. It shouldn't take a pandemic for you to be like, are you okay? Why, out of all the times, now you want to check in on us? Because y'all don't want to die? Because you don't want to get infected because the poor people will push it out and you eventually catch it? No. You should have been caring from before. Because all of this affects all these communities being ravaged by marginalization and oppression affects everyone. It's going to come to you sooner or later. The poor people will eat the rich. Mm-hmm. It will happen. So
that's the thing about all this I don't understand. Like this fundamental lack of understanding that you're only as strong as your weakest link, so to speak. And I don't want to simplify these topics when it comes to government, finances, economics, and just the way marginal communities become marginal, because they're very intentional, and then they breed into the culture, and then they become generational traumas and things that people have to work against. And then in the moment, people try to simplify it and be like, just pull yourself up from your bootstraps. I don't got boots on. I don't got shoelaces. I don't even got socks on, bro. What are you talking about? Pull my ass up, bro. I'm trying to get these socks on. Boots? Who got boots? Boots? Who got boots? Leather? So I understand that some of those conversations are way more layered than what they want. So that's why I try not to even just engage with them in any sort of short, condensed sort of way. So I'm gonna accidentally skip over it. But it's just I just want to focus on us, if that makes any sense. I just really want to focus on us. Just even talking to Josh, just about seeing Black over the past few months and how they came together to do that. And I get it, they have a big platform, him, Makai, Dre, and all the other guys and girls that put it together, and women rather, that put it together. But I think it's systems like that. It's us trying to Uberize this creative economy that's going to be the most important thing for us to start thinking about. How do I have an entity that gets a bunch of people that is interested in what we do? Whether it's, how do we make a Netflix for us? How do we create an Uber for us? How do we create this sort of sharing economy amongst ourselves and our communities for the things that we find important, whether that be art related or otherwise? But I think those are the new ideas that we got to start thinking about, because the structures that are being built are just, they're based around that sort of keeping money in the community and sharing it around and having everybody eat at all stages of the vertical integration.
Yeah, I think our community now is catching on more than ever. But I think a lot of people are hard on us because we're at this present time, but we've been held back for a long time. So our maturity as a whole is just becoming mature. To me, in my eyes, I think we are finally getting, some type of grasp. And I see a lot of people, I think it's an interesting renaissance happening right now. With a lot of people building businesses, building particular followings, building movements. My friend from Florida moved down here around the same time as me, probably 6 months earlier, right? His name is Dom. He has a company called Photo Dom. And he's making the first Black camera shop in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's exactly what we need. Exactly. You understand? He's one of the most intelligent people that I know. And for him to make that Sorry about this music. They is blasting their car music.
It's just natural, bro. They want to hear New York. That's New York.
That is so natural, right?
That's birds chirping.
Continuing to complain about the marginalization and oppression, he took matters into his own hands. And he was not like he has a lot of money or anything. He actually did a GoFundMe page, and within like 2 weeks raised over $30,000. And I think with the likened minds that understand that this is something that we need to feel comfortable, to feel supported, I think that's what really pushed his fundraiser forward. It's like people's like, we don't have any Black camera stores in Brooklyn, one of the creative capitals of the world. Are you crazy? So he was like, I'm gonna make it happen. And I think that's what we need more of. It's like people going, how am I connected to this movement? How am I connected to culture moving forward, or just pushing us further, like you were saying? And once you find out your particular niche through it all, and you combine it with the support of the community, I think
that's just a hater. You know the sauce is happening.
I think it'll be a positive growth. You know, I don't think it always will work out that easily.
Hey yo, turn that goddamn horn, B. Y'all here trying to conversation and shit, man. But no, I think that's a really great point, because I mean, I feel like everybody in their own little way over this past couple of months or so, maybe even longer, obviously, have been trying to find those sort of like solution-oriented sort of situations where they could, you know, create something that doesn't exist. The fact that it hasn't been a Black camera store in Brooklyn, that's crazy to me. Like you said, one of the creative capitals of the world, if not like the creative capital of the world in certain respects, you know, at least damn sure one of the top 10. So, but it just goes to show, like, we don't even have resources and like the foundations that, you know, at times, like we assume that things like that are there. But even when I was living in Brooklyn, I was going to, where was it? Soho, to a camera spot to get my film developed. You know what I mean? And so it's like something that never crossed my mind, you know, that it wasn't out there. I just was like, someone recommended that place and that's just where I went. I just wasn't even thinking like, why isn't there one in Brooklyn? You know, this kind of goes to show that even those small, simple tools, we don't even have the infrastructure for at the moment. But just, you know, I was gonna say, but just from my perspective, just like, that's definitely a step. And then the step is like, you know, somebody going and developing the film and then picking up a camera from that place, or bringing the camera there to get, you know, something else done, or to just add to their arsenal of like creativity. I just hope that we're just, you know, we're continuing to build like that. That's what I want to, you know, hope to continue building. But I'm very, very concerned from my perspective, from, you know, seeing as we're just talking about finances in a way, about the things that we're building that's going to make more of us eat. Because we're just getting to a place where like people are like, there's been like an exponential explosion for those that have compared to those that don't have. Like the have and the have nots within this like $1 trillion or $3 trillion injection of money into the economy. Like some of that joint just went straight upstream. Like they didn't trickle down. You know, people, okay, great. I'm some of these higher figures with more money, whether because of stock, you know, stock in companies or whatever the case may be, but like ownership of other things. You know, someone gives you $1 trillion to spend across the citizenry, they spend it, they get Amazon Prime, they get groceries, the essentials, they buy laptops from Apple and blah, blah, blah. Those people eat, they come up, they grow. And the people that got the money, that 600, they didn't have any assets for it to grow at the same time. Like what I have really learned over this past few months, like forget your wage, forget your salary. Life is about having assets that grow over time. You know, like it's almost like, you know, like it's almost like Baby Boy or some shit. Like it's about guns and butter. You know, like, you know, people like that, you know, the butters, the flashy shit, diamonds, jewelry, cars, all that stuff that depreciates in value as soon as you like, you know, you drive it off the lot. And what's the guns? The guns is stocks, bonds, you know, like, but seriously, like real estate ownership, like those are the things that we gotta have. Businesses, things with exponential like returns on investment. And we got to make sure our community knows that those things are important to us and they should be invested in. So like the more of us eat, then what happens? My money, my photo store, my camera store, it got too much traffic. I need to hire an employee. Let me get somebody from the neighborhood. I need another employee. I need somebody from the neighborhood. I'm trying to see if I can source my cameras from another, maybe Black owned or brown owned business and get a lens from them instead of, you know, whomever, Leica, whomever. I'm gonna go give them some resources. Like, it's really generally, I know people have been talking about it for eons and decades and years and, you know, and centuries, but it's like, we really got to have like a stronger emphasis on our communities and Black and like these like community owned businesses, because we're getting to the point where the mom and pop, they own out of business, like over like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of like small businesses have gone out of business over the past few months. Like, people like out of business forever. They got to go try to get a job doing whatever now. Like, we're at a very like tenuous spot where we just have to truly ensure that the things that we're building from now on have a lot of future in sight. They can't be just for the moment. They can't be for next year. I mean, sometimes I drive myself crazy thinking about it, but I'm really trying to be in a place where I'm thinking out, what's 5 years look like? What's 10 years look like? I know live for the day, but I'm gonna plan as if there's a tomorrow. And before, I was really just living for the day, living for the month, living for maybe the next 3 months, next 6 months. But I'm just trying to think about, what can I invest in now that I can wait, be consistent and sit on? And in 5 years, it's wealth. In 10 years, it's success.
I think it's tough also because we're almost forced to think this aggressively in our community and within this country. And we have to live with like this forced intention instead of, you know, being able to explore life. I remember one of my mentors was telling me that he went to Yale. Yes, Yale. And his roommate, obviously a white man, couple months down was like, you know what? I'm dropping out of college and I'm just gonna go a trip to wherever, you know?
Right there, I would have did that. Can't afford to though.
Mind you, the mentor has worked his ass off to get to this college, right? Mm-hmm. Even if he didn't want to, you know, it's kind of like he's forced into the position to finish this experience. Mm-hmm. He can't be like, you know, even though I worked this hard, I can explore and go off and like feel something new because my gut told me to go somewhere else. I'm almost like cemented down within this new purpose. And I think that contributes to a lot of like mental health issues. And I think that's another thing that our community needs to tether to at this point in time with, yes, lucrative enterprises, mm-hmm. but taking our mental health well as well through this all, you know. I think especially again, country's climate, it kind of sucks seeing like Chadwick Boseman gone, you know. I know that affected a lot of young black men, period, people, period. You know, it affected me. I dropped a tear too that night. Of course. It's like, whoa. And then again, the rhetoric was for these particular artists, like, wow, he worked so hard right before, and he had, you know, cancer this whole time. Like, make sure you know you can work that hard too. And it's like, that's not, I don't think that's the message he was trying to put out there. You know, I don't know the message per se. Maybe it was, but you start having us drain ourselves for this aggressive purpose. I think it does a lot of harm. I think we as humans, and it's a more westernized mm-hmm. approach to it, and I think we as humans should definitely enjoy life too.
Absolutely.
It's kind of hard to say again because I'm in a very privileged position. It's like I haven't had to do a lot of things or be without a lot of things in life for a period of time compared to like the rest of the world. So for me to say like, you just enjoy life, I know it can sound like a smack in the face to a lot of people, but I just don't want us to be caught up in the idea of working our lives away.
That's a really smart, I mean, it's a really like necessary point to make, because we are very like work oriented in this country, Western wise, even America to a large degree. Like we have like 12 official like holidays for instance, and I work with a global company, and like in London, India, all these other places, they have like 22 to 30. You know what I mean? Like just that alone is like a concept of that. And that's just like in general, regardless of what you do, like we have like 12 official holidays versus like someplace else where it's like 3 times and you must take it. And just with regard to like working yourself to death to get to, support and fulfillment, and we're just not like paying attention to life. I agree with that. But that's funny enough what I found from, or oddly enough, what I found from like Chadwick's, like some of the things that people were sharing about what he said and the things that it seemed like he was working towards. It was like, maybe for him, it really wasn't working himself to death because he had his purpose was so clear in what he had to do that it was hard work, but it was work that he wanted to do. And I think everyone in life should be trying to get there. Like I want to get to the place where I'm so in love and passionate and obsessed with the thing that I'm creating. I don't care if I was working 16-hour days, 7 days a week, but if I loved it, it was like, it was worth it. Of course you got to do time for yourself and your family, but if you're doing something that truly enriches you, like that thing is like eating food. It's just something that you're doing to exist. And I think the true thing is trying to find those things in life that really feed you in such a way where doing them, truly everybody says it, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels like it just feels like your journey in life, like a movement toward purpose. You know, work is, it's like hard to even describe it as work. It's just, purposeful actions done on the daily. And I think that's what I've been trying to work towards. And that's what everything I've been creating has been about, for the past, few years, but definitely now. Because as you said, there is a sort of like illness that comes about with us, particularly, poorer folks, people who are like from, less means or are living in less means presently. It's difficult to think about like all the great things that you want to do and all the fun things that you want to do and all the great things. Cause it's like, okay, great. I got 2 kids. What type of great shit you talking about? I need to go to work, pay these bills and get back to them. I don't have time for happy, like happiness in that sort of way. Fulfillment, only thing I'm trying to fulfill is this credit card, to put the shit that I got to put on it for these, to pay these bills or whatever. So I get it. Like, I get the privilege that comes with that. And I get the privilege of that white dude, when it regards to your mentor and, other people that get that privilege who just being like, this is like Yale, Harvard, wherever, hard, like real task. I'm gonna go travel. Like measure of privilege that I'm always like baffled by. It's like you're at a place where like your failure, like your safety net is so strong that you fail into Yale. I want to fail into $1 million. My failure, like it's like they keep failing up, and that's indicative of many people that we have empowered today. And then we see like it's just like this constant, like their down is up. It's like us falling, we hit the ground, they fall into a penthouse. What I mean? It's really like that. So I do understand. Like I'm always like, imagine that Black people weren't dealing with these distractions that tend to be, some of the shit is created and some of the stuff that I really do are really real, just based on actions and violence that's projected towards us. And sometimes I'm just like, what if we just all decided, fuck this shit, we're not gonna engage with it. Let's just choose a time period. We're not gonna engage in none of the bullshit and distractions from life for 6 months, for a year. What would Black people really truly create if we weren't? Because sometimes I feel like we're controlled by racism. We're controlled by the knowingness of our outrage, because people understand how connected we are. They know how outraged we will be by certain things. So it's like the intentionality of some of the violence directed towards us. I wonder if it is just to drop us off a course, if it is to like prevent us from like getting to our true mission in life, to create more humanity, create more life, more energy that could create a change. Like Bob Marley, like low key is the only hero in my life I've ever had. And his whole thing was about like, break yourself from mental slavery. Have a life that is purposeful and action oriented and rebellion oriented. And it's like, I think we just get distracted and thrown off sometimes to have like, to in a weird way, but make us more docile. Like how much Black pain do you have to see? How much Black death and trauma do you have to see before you're desensitized to anybody? No care, I don't care who they are. Even if you keep crying when it happens, it still doesn't feel as strong as the first time you saw it. And over time, it's like, it keeps hitting you. And imagine that coming from a white person, someone who's a non-black. It's like watching somebody walk down, the store to pick, it was like walking down the store. If it happens all the time, it ain't like seeing a comet, it ain't like seeing a shooting star. That happens every once in a while. Black death happens almost every other week on television, in a really weird, profound, disgusting, overhaul type of way. So I do understand when you talk about like mental health and the need to like really, truly not work yourself to death, but at the same time, some of these things we really have to take a step back and say, you know what, this shit is fucked up, but I'm going to choose not to engage as deeply with this. I'm just waiting for, genuinely at this point in my life, I don't watch any more Black death. I'm waiting for legislation. I don't watch none of it. I don't engage with it. I don't want to see the videos. I don't want to hear it. I know it sucks. All I want is legislation. My tears I refuse to have my tears constantly be commodified for media attention, for clicks, for views, and for ad revenue. it is what it is.
Yeah, bro.
It's like you see it and it just like reds up. Yo, let's get the money machine. Let's start printing this money, man. Black death, black pain, black shame. Like you're not the like. I mean, just being real. Like it's just like I get it. I get it. I'm refusing to engage with it beyond the point of acknowledgement. I refuse to have that shit ruin my month. Because some things it's be in the back of your mind. You can't go to sleep. You can't take a shower. You can't eat. Like it happened to me.
Yeah. And
I just told myself, like, you know what? For this period of time, because there's so much going on, I got to remove myself a little bit from it. Because there's way more, while those moments are of heightened importance, the most important, and they need to be truly brought to justice. But we need to start realizing that we're here for a reason. All of us ain't here to be sad. We're here to keep pushing the baton forward, to get justice for those that we've lost, and to make life better for those who are going to still be here. I really want us to start focusing on happiness, to be more life-centered and not death-centered. And I damn sure know we're trying to do it, but we're not given that chance. And that's why I want even to go harder about making life important, because we're being thrown off for a reason.
I agree. That was the best. I'm motherfucking testimony. Goddamn, I felt that.
I went to a moment.
Bars. I like it.
The Jamaican be dropping, the Jamaican man, bro, he be falling out sometimes, man. He be like, he be English, but the patois be coming with the energy. But that's really it, man. I just think we're being thrown off course. We're trying to create beautiful things for the world, experience for ourselves, the experience, and we're just being thrown off course in a very violent, inhumane way to make us, lose our, generally devalue and lose our humanity. And I just don't want to even engage with that sort of reality anymore. I really believe life is what you make it. Life is what you think. And life is what you focus and give time, attention, and energy towards. And I'm just putting my energy now into building more moments of beauty, I just want to start building things that are the world that I want to see. I'm tired of feeling like a victim in someone else's dream of the world. Exactly. I want to be a creator in my dream of my world. Yeah. And I think more people will be excited about my world because there's more love, more joy, more weed, more wine. I mean, more time, good times in a sense. And you're a person, like I said, who I feel like is a part of trying to bring that word forward, that sort of emotions and feelings over technology and finances. And I think that's important. Because I feel like we're getting desperate, but we're getting desperate about things that other people have placed value on and they don't fundamentally have value. We saw how quickly money can be printed. It doesn't mean anything. It's just somebody pressing a button and putting some shit in your account or sending you a letter. It doesn't truly, when you think about it, mean anything. It's a myth. It's something that we created to exchange resources. But it's a myth. This country makes $26 trillion a year or something like that. We've spent and I get it, the bill got to get up, but the way that the financial systems work, it's you put it at a 0.0% interest rate or whatever, 0.01% interest rate, spread the shit out of over 50 years, and the money that you're spending now is equivalent to $1 million later, whatever. But it's just they can do it, but they won't. It's because you got to keep people under control. You got to keep them docile. You got to let them buy into your system of the world, your way of your myth of the world, your reality of the world. But there's people who just don't give a fuck about that shit. Whether you call them hippies or they do mushrooms or they're just in touch with other shit, we don't have to do it this way. This is a template. This is someone's idea. It's a choice that we make subconsciously or without thought, but it doesn't have to be this way. Of course, okay, shit, I didn't want it to be this way. I didn't pay my rent and I'm outside on the street. You're failing to realize that you can't create another opportunity, that somebody won't take you in, that a friend won't help, that you guys can't create another system that isn't built on these same sorts of things. Right. I just want us to start rethinking our templates, and this moment should be one where we don't lose the opportunity that's seemingly trying to be taken away from us. The next 6 months, 2 months, 60 days, 2 months, with this election coming up, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be making it seem like this is mass murders happening every day and blood on the streets and money evaporating and people getting kicked out their houses left and right. And that is gonna be true for a strong amount of people that I hope we got to make sure we give them aid. But I feel like we're just not focusing on the moments in life that are just beautiful and they're more in abundance than the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, really try to focus on the positive as much as possible while trying to create change through that positivity. It's this negative focus hasn't been working. It hasn't gotten us anywhere. I haven't seen any legislation. I haven't seen any change. I don't see as many hearts change as I think we all would like. So let's just create a space that's new and have other people come to it and choose to be different, just like we've all chosen to be a part of their negativity.
A new fucking template.
A new template, bro. Like, it don't got to be like this. It really doesn't. And I just want to start rethinking the world. Like, 2020 was supposed to be a year of vision. And I know that vision didn't look like what we all expected it to be, but I think it did. It showed us how bad shit could be if we don't truly hold on to the things that we value and create the things that we want. Because if we let other people do it for us, this is what the world looks like. Do you like it? No. Like, it can happen.
Yeah.
Everything that we imagine, it could really happen. This is all someone thought about something. They said, hey, yo, what you think about that? All right, cool. And then someone ran with it, told somebody else, and then, that happened for hundreds of millions of people, and they called it America. Obviously, it's stupid, but they called it America.
It's true.
But why can't we just reimagine what we are now in our countries in the world? I think it's possible, man. Black folks in particular, we're such powerful. Like, we create culture. This shit goes around the globe. The most supposedly, powerless people create the most energy across the planet. Like, it's just like that strength and that true value needs to be understood and realized and valued for what it is. Like, it ain't gold, it ain't silver, it ain't platinum, it ain't diamonds. It's that connectivity and that energy that really makes the world go around. Fuck money. Like, we can get that by doing the things that we want, because the value is always going to come to those that create culture. The values are always going to come to those that are going to be the leaders in that sort of sense. I just believe in that. I don't got the whole map right now, but I think in ways like this, we create our map. We just got to make sure that we're owning the platforms as we go along, and not just owning the content that comes from those platforms. Because those that own the platforms, that own the stores, that own the businesses, that create those things are the ones that are going to really win in the end. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't give a fuck about how many images you post of your body, of your photography on Facebook or Instagram. It's all alike. It's all a metric. It all helps him charge more money for the people going to pay for ads for his system. The value is owning the platform, not the person that's populating the platform. I'm trying to get to that place in my mind, and for us, it's gonna take resources, but that's what we got to be headed towards. So, I mean, you're not an actor. Like you said, you're a business.
True.
You're a business. You're not a model. You're a business.
Business, man.
You are a human as well, but you're a business.
Man. I'm about my business.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, I feel like we just ended on a whole lot of questions, CC.
No.
I'm just go. I mean, maybe we should just wrap it on there, man. Just, I want to thank you.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to give you a poem or two. Wow.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. Hit me with a poem. We can end that way. Dope.
Bet.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you the single screen so people can really get you. Speak of you. Do it.
I'm gonna read one that I've read to you before. Just get to it.
Exactly. Like, this is about to be good. Y'all, get ready, man. This is gonna be a moment.
Thank you.
Let's end on some art. Because I really want this to become much more interactive. I'm gonna have people just going through their computers and giving me unreleased shit. Like, when this starts to develop, man. Like, this really, I'm gonna get it much more interactive. So you're the first performance, so everybody knows.
I feel I am grateful and I am blessed to be able to do this. Okay, I'm gonna read two different kind of poems. The second one is gonna be a wild card. The first one is called Ice Queen. I've performed this before, and I told you this one before. And this one is really what got me back into writing and just creating art, period. I think heartbreak, not just my alias, but heartbreak itself is one of the greatest forms of inspiration for an artist. And I was going through, not a heartbreak, but like, just, yes, a different kind of heartbreak. Somebody didn't intentionally hurt me, but they just were not as interested or didn't think I was of as much value at the time. And I was motivated by that, to let them know how badly I wanted them. And I haven't wrote poem in like years until this poem at that point in time. And till this day, is one of my favorite poems. And it just reminds me like how art can last forever and inspire you forever. So Ice Queen. How dare you offer me an elixir? As a future pain could heal any quicker. I'm a man, so I make a man's decision. I pay you mine because I do as I please with my riches. I have no 401k. My only benefit is that I'm out of find what I've been missing. See, I can take the heat in the kitchen. It's the unclosed freezer door that tempts my insanity. No complaint, says the man in me, but why must I suffer because someone else left you open? I will gladly close you back, but your hinges are frozen. And if I go too slow, I might leave you broken. And if I go too fast, I might leave you broken. But fixing you is not something I object to. I'm not coming to your rescue. I'm just trying to rest you. Come lay your head on my loyalty. Queen, you are royalty, but don't you toy with me because I have a crown too. I only stepped off my throne just so I could find you.
Son, yo, the first time you told me you performed that one for me, I was taken aback, and even hearing it again is so fucking good. Damn, I gotta let them see me. It's so fucking good, bro.
Yeah. I'm up on 2 lines there, but you got to read through it sometimes. But overall, that's literally one of my favorite poems I've ever read.
Seriously, bro. Like, and I got to be real. Like, I'm not even a fan of poetry. Like, I really am not. So it's about like you gotta really make it hit for me to like really fuck with it. I'm saying as a person who's written some poems, it's got to hit, and that shit always hits. So, yeah, man. Hit me with the other one.
The other one is called "Living in the Future." I'm giving this one more so to give a polarity of like what my thoughts be on a daily basis. I really just think about like existential crises and like loving people, and how how love affects me and affects my love affects others. But this one is more of an existential poem. And here we go. It's called Living in the Future. The future will not set you free. Like an arsonist in a dry forest, the future will set you ablaze. It will burn through all you have built, all you have grown, just to remind you where you came from, to send your ashes right back down to earth. Whatever was thought to last, whatever was thought to be lost ends up running out of the crevices in order to survive its sure fate. A hopeless attempt to evade the smoke and the flames. The future is infinite. Thinking that far will burn a hole through your forehead. The painful price of a third eye. Through the future, the past is visible like a window in a time machine. What a cyclical system. To go the distance just to end up at the beginning. The future will not set you free.
My man, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, man, just thank you, man. Like,
thank you for letting me perform and for actually listening to me. I appreciate that. That makes my heart swell. So,
thank you for sharing, man, and thank you for always sharing and being open.
We gotta plug it in one more time. You said thank you for sharing, so I'm gonna say thank you for sharing.
Yeah, let's do the plug.
One more time. You already know where we at with.
We gotta get you a book. We gotta get you a book like this too. But design them on it. But again, I just want to say thank you for sharing. Thank you for always being you. Thank you for being real. Thank you for always being vulnerable. Because it's just like at a point. It's like we're at a point right now where, at least we were, where it was almost like black men in general just weren't willing to truly go there with not just other men but with anybody. And meeting you literally the first day was like, yo, this dude is a person that we can just go there and instantaneously. There's no like boundaries on your depth. Like there's no caps on how far you're willing to go. And I think that's truly what makes you a unique soul. Like I told you, like you got every single thing I've seen anybody else who's at any sort of place that you want to be at has. Whether that's acting or modeling, like you have the it factor, you have the presence, you have the face that people pay to see, the body that people gaze to be, but
Thank
And you know, it's just, but even deeper, you have like that thing that draws people in. And I understand that age doesn't mean anything for some people, but like, there's no way that if you keep working with the energy that you have and the person that you are, that you won't make it to everything and every place that you want to get to. Like, your fulfillment is guaranteed. I mean, it's almost like it's almost like your cup is already full. You just got to find what like cupboard is in, but it's already
Yeah.
full once you get there. And
Wow. Poetry.
I really believe that. Like, I seriously do. Like, I really genuinely believe that, man. Like, you are a light, bro.
Thank you,
Seriously.
King.
And you got the light coming right behind you.
Thank
You are,
you, King, man.
that has been SHEREN. And you know, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back soon. Stick around.